Today I want to discuss something that I've been getting a lot of questions about lately, and that is, which one should I get? Is it the Mavic Mini or is it the Mavic Air 2 that I should go and buy? Keep in mind, this video would be mostly useful for the beginners out there, people who are still looking to purchase their first ever drone, people who are not very into drones yet and are not too informed about different specs and features. So with that being said, let's discuss the pros and cons of both of these drones and figure out which one you should buy. First, let's start with the form factor, because I think this is probably the biggest difference between the two. The fact that this one is 249 grams and this one is 570 grams really makes a whole lot of difference. And because of the fact the Mavic Mini is 249 grams, it means that you don't have to register your drone if you plan to fly it in the US. Personally, I don't think registering your drone makes a huge difference. You still need to fly the same way as you fly with the Mavic Air 2. You still need to follow the same rules and regulations. You just don't have to register the drone in the FAA's website. Does that make it more appealing for you compared to the Mavic Air 2? Maybe, but for me the biggest difference is just the portability and the weight difference. You can literally put this drone in your pocket and go fly with it. So I really like the portability factor that the Mavic Mini brings. However, we should not underestimate the Mavic Air 2, as it's also quite small. I probably won't be able to fit it in my pocket, but still, for a drone, I think it's quite portable as well. Now let's talk about the camera, because I think this is something that most people care about the most when it comes to these drones. And this one comes with a 1/2.3-inch CMOS sensor with a 12 megapixel photo capabilities, whereas the Mavic Air 2 comes with 1/2-inch sensor capable of photos in 12 and also 48 megapixels. In my tests, I didn't find the 48 megapixel photos to be any better than the 12 megapixels, to be honest. So is that a gimmick? For me, it kind of is. The photos are 4 times the size of a regular photo. They're not sharper, as a matter of fact, they're a bit noisier, and they don't necessarily look better than the 12 megapixel alternative. So if you think that this photo capabilities, the 48 megapixel photo capabilities, are going to change your life, I don't think they will. The camera is, of course, better than the Mavic Mini. The sensor is larger, 1/2-inch sensor for the Mavic Air 2 compared to 1/2.3-inch sensor on the Mavic Mini. If you plan to take lots of photos with these drones, keep in mind the Mavic Mini is not capable to take photos in RAW format, so that's a huge deal breaker for some photographers, as well as the fact that it doesn't shoot in flat color profile. You only have the normal color profile available, whereas on the Mavic Air 2 you have D-Cine-alike, which is great for color grading, and I think this makes the most difference when you compare these two drones. The camera is just a lot more advanced on the Mavic Air 2 and gives you a lot more flexibility to edit your shots, to tweak them a little bit. So if you're a photographer or a cinematographer and you're looking for an extra angle in the sky and you're looking for a cheaper drone to give you that, the Mavic Mini is not going to deliver. However, the Mavic Air 2 is going to be the one that is going to give you RAW and flat color profiles and better quality in general. Both of these drones use an aperture of f2.8. However, like I mentioned already, the difference in the sensor size makes all the difference. And of course, we can't forget, you don't have 4K resolution on the Mavic Mini. You only have 2.7K at 30 frames per second to work with, whereas on the Mavic Air 2 you have full 4K video available. So if 4K is something that you're looking for, you only have it on the Air 2. So to summarize on the camera part of these two drones, I think they are geared towards very different types of people. The Mini is something that would be useful for people who are not into photography or videography and are just looking... Apologies, my light went off and I had to leave it plugged into the socket. I didn't want it to leave it too dark behind me. Anyway, let's continue. The Mini is just geared mostly towards casual flyers who are not very into photography and videography. Yes, with the latest update we had for the Mini, we now have manual camera settings both for photo and video, and you can start using ND filters and get even better shots. However, you still don't have too many options to grade your footage and to get really cool photos with it, as you don't have those editing capabilities with the Mini. With the Mavic Air 2, you definitely have a lot more options to color grade, to tweak your footage and your photos, and you'll definitely not feel like you're limited by lack of settings. Now, in terms of battery life, both of these drones are very capable. Both of them are able to get roughly to the 30-minute mark. The Mavic Mini has a slightly smaller battery life than the Mavic Air 2, but you'll easily get 25 to 28, 30 minutes with both of these drones. So in that aspect, the Mavic Mini is still a great contender. In terms of flight range, the Mavic Mini is very different than the Mavic Air 2. The Mavic Mini comes with Wi-Fi transmission technology, which gives you maximum flight range of up to 4 kilometers in the US and up to 2 kilometers in Europe. On the other hand, the Mavic Air 2 comes with maximum flight range up to 10 kilometers in the US and up to 6 kilometers in Europe. So the difference is quite drastic, of course, but we're not talking about maximum flight distance and how far you can go with these drones. The transmission system is what makes them very unique and different. Wi-Fi transmission technology is going to interfere with all of these Wi-Fi networks that you have around you if you're flying in an urban area, whereas the Mavic Air 2 and its OcuSync 2.0 transmission technology is not going to really limit you in where you plan to fly. You can fly in the city, you can fly outside the city, and you have a very good range in all of these areas and different situations. That's what makes OcuSync 2.0 so good, and that is going to give you peace of mind that you can fly anywhere you want to, whereas with the Mavic Mini you'll always have to compromise and think before you fly about interference, about possible breakups, and you'll just be a lot more limited. Speaking from my experience, flying with the Mavic Mini in urban areas is almost impossible. You don't have good range and good signal at all, but I am based in Europe. If you're flying in the US, it's a little bit different. The signal is a little bit better as well. However, I wouldn't really recommend you to use the Mavic Mini if you plan to fly where there are lots of Wi-Fi networks. So urban areas are not the strongest part of the Mavic Mini, and for that peace of mind I would choose the Mavic Air 2. Now, because the Mavic Mini is so lightweight, it's just 249 grams, DJI really had to cut down on some features that we're used to seeing in pretty much any other DJI drone. So with this drone, you almost don't have any smart features built in. Yes, you do have quick shots, but those are pretty much the only intelligent flight modes that you can use on the Mavic Mini. You can use cinematic mode and sport mode and normal mode, but that's pretty much it. You don't have hyperlapse, for example, you don't have waypoints, you don't have point of interest even, and you don't have active track as well. Those are things that some people would be missing a lot if they go for the Mavic Mini. However, I know for a fact that many people don't care about any of these features. They just want to take a few photos and videos with their drones. If you're one of these people, then the Mavic Mini is not a bad choice. And speaking about things that the Mavic Mini does not have, I can't go without mentioning that it also doesn't have any obstacle avoidance sensors. On the Mavic Air 2, you have sensors on the front, you have sensors on the bottom, and you also have sensors on the back. On the other hand, the Mavic Mini does not have any sensors at all. These are not sensors here, these are just vents to cool down the drone, and you only have these two little sensors here to help you when taking off and landing. So think about if these sensors matter to you, because if obstacle avoidance is something that you absolutely need to have, the Mavic Mini doesn't have it. Finally, I want to talk about the price of these drones, because here is where it gets interesting. The Mavic Mini is exactly half the price of the Mavic Air 2. And for that, many people are willing to compromise with everything I've said up until this point and go for the Mavic Mini. If you go for the Mavic Mini Fly More combo, you'll have to pay $100 more, but I really think it's worth it if you want to have a longer flight time, because you'll get some accessories and mostly you will get 2 more batteries, so 3 in total, for a total flight time of up to 90 minutes. I think this is a great deal because you're saving some money on these batteries and you have a lot of flight time. The Mavic Air 2 comes at $799, and if you want to get the Fly More package, it's roughly $1,000 for those 2 extra batteries and a couple of different accessories that come with it. So that's a massive difference in terms of pricing. However you want to look at it, the Mavic Mini is half the price of the Mavic Air 2. So even though I mentioned all of the things that the Mavic Mini does not have, I think it's still quite an appealing product for many people due to its low price. For $399, I think this is currently the best drone that you can get right now. And of course, you'll have to make a lot of compromises and sacrifices if you get the Mavic Mini. However, you are still going to get a great package. If you're willing to spend a bit more and you're looking for those extra features that are not present on the Mavic Mini, you love photography, you love videography, you love editing and tweaking your shots, then the Mavic Air 2 is definitely the one to go for. So it all comes down to what you need your drone for. Are you really interested in those extra features? Then the Air 2 is the one. Are you just looking for some good footage that you just want to share on Facebook, Instagram, and with your friends and family? Then the Mini is the one to go for. I've noticed quite a lot of people who have messaged me about getting the Mavic Mini and outgrowing it after a few months of regular flying. And that's something that I think makes a lot of sense, because if you're really getting into drones, you will inevitably start looking for more from your drone. You will start experimenting, you will start looking for more features, more things to explore, more things to do with your drone, and in that way the Mavic Mini is a bit limiting. So maybe think about if you will feel limited by your drone after a few months of using it. Maybe you will need those extra features that it doesn't have, or maybe you just don't care that much and you want simplicity. For that, the Mavic Mini is great. Anyway, that's everything that I have for you today, and I really hope this video will be beneficial for you so you can make the right choice, which drone is the right one for you. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. This is Mike from Drone Supremacy. Take care everyone, and I'll see you soon. Ciao!